Hey Mutts, this is video number 3 of 5 Parsecs From Home. It's the battle setup, readying for battles, what it says in the book. From the fringe to the core worlds, unified space is full of conflict, sector-wide land grabs, hardline legal enforcement, petty local squabbles, or generation-old slights seeking final justice. Sooner or later, everybody's reaching for a weapon, and there's you in the middle of it. This chapter takes you through the battle stage of the game, from calculating who and how many enemies you face, to running away with all the opportunities for glory in between. Battles fall into the following types: patron missions, rival missions, quest missions, opportunity missions, invasion battles. From the campaign turn sequence, you will know what type of mission to play if nothing else presented itself. You will always do an opportunity mission. Alrighty, so we're going to go through the steps here of setting the battle up and putting it out on the tabletop. Before we can play the tabletop battle, follow the steps below to create the scenario. Determine deployment conditions, determine the objective, determine the enemy, set up the battlefield. Number 1, determine deployment conditions. You may deploy under challenging circumstances for quest, patron, rival, and opportunity missions. Roll D100 and consult the appropriate column. This table is ignored during an invasion battle. So we gotta get our 100 die and our 10 die. 100 roll here for conditions. And we got 20, what was that? I rolled over 29. We're under the quest one. So quest number 29, 26 through 30. Brief engagement. At the end of each round, roll 2d6. If the roll is equal or below the round number, the game ends inconclusively. That's a brief engagement, I guess, huh? So, I'll take that one. Why not? Heck, might turn out to be the best for us. Who knows? So, okay, so we got our deployment condition as a brief. Alright, so we determined deployment conditions. Checked. Next, notable sites. If you're fighting an invasion battle, you are simply here to survive. Otherwise, roll a D100. Oh, we're going to be rolling another D100. To determine if a notable site is present, make sure to consult the correct column. The item is placed. Here, let's roll a D100. Okay, 41. So, I got to write this in. Notable site now, huh? Okay, and I rolled a 41. And it's going to be under quest. And notable site is going to be 36 through 50. Loot cache. Ha ha ha. Loot. Roll once on the loot table. It's okay. The item is placed 2d6 plus 2 inches. Oh, so it tells you where to place it. In a random direction from the center of the table, and can be acquired by moving into contact with it and foregoing any other actions that round. Okay, cool. So that's how you're gonna grab it. So yeah, so in this battle, man, we gotta find out where this loot cache is. So alrighty, notable site. I like it. That's kind of neat. Puts a little extra to the battle. Okay, determine the objective. Opportunity, patron, and quest missions will roll for the objective you're undertaking. Okay. If this is the final battle of a quest, it is always a fight off objective and must add a +1 to the number of enemy faced. To win the battle, you must achieve the objective, even if you are subsequently chased from the battlefield, unless a specific mission objective states otherwise. Okay, we're doing a quest mission objective. So it looks like I'm rolling a D10 and a 1. Move through. Okay. Objective. I'm assuming they're going to have a description of these objectives down below. Okay, so move through. Yep, types of objectives. So I scroll down, move through. You win the mission if at least 2 crew members move off to opposing battlefield edge. If you drive off all enemies, you win as long as you have at least 2 crew members remaining alive. That one's easy. I'll have to come back and make a note on that one for when I set up the battle. Alright, so we got that done. What's next? Rival attacks? We don't, that's right, we roll, we don't have any rivals coming after us on this one. Right, man, I gotta look back at this, yeah, decoy, yeah, Laura was a decoy and rolled and we got no rivals. That's right, I had all those great rolls. That was cool. That was, yeah, so, alrighty, so we move on, so we don't have to worry about rival attacks. Has all, and it also has certain types of rival attacks listed here for you. So invasion battles, no, we're not doing that. All right, so number 3, determine the enemy. If you're fighting a rival mission or invasion battle, you'll usually know who you're. Yeah, okay. If you are not sure or have acquired an unexpected rival, no, we haven't done that. Otherwise, you will need to generate the opposition for the mission you are about to undertake. First, roll D100 on the enemy counter category table. Alrighty, I rolled in there 41. What's up with these low 40s? Alright, so there's got to be a table here somewhere down below, I'm sure. Just put down enemy. Okay. Let's go see who the enemy is. Interested parties. Okay. Then go to the appropriate subtable and roll D100 again. Okay. Oh, so there's probably a subtable for each one of these. Yeah, okay, yeah, criminal elements, hired muscle, interested parties, roving threats. So I gotta go look for interested party table. An interested party. Another group has taken an interest in the job you're doing. Add a +1 when rolling for unique individuals. Well, I guess I need to do a 100 here real quick, right? Roll D100. And it's a 5. I rolled a 5. 1 through 6. Renegades. Oh boy. Renegade Soldiers. Okay, so Renegade Soldiers. We got some like mercenaries now. Crap, and we're just beginning. We're greenhorns. Okay, and that's what I like about this. They have their skills. You know, speed is 4 inches. Combat skills are +1. Oh my gosh, toughness is a 5. AI, I think that's a code for on the AI table, and then weapons 2B. Okay, well, alright, so add a +1 when rolling for unique individuals. That must be something else we're going to look at here. During quest missions, when rolling for the number of opponents, re-roll any die scoring 1 once. Okay, so let's go back up to where we're supposed to go. Next is oh, there's the AI type. Okay, so there's a table here. The AI type column indicates the type of the AI. Like code A is aggressive, code C is cautious, code D is defense. So it's on. It has to be on there. What you call it? Interesting part. Yeah, Renegade Soldiers. AI is T. Tactical. Well, yeah, they're soldiers tactical. Okay, I'll just put AI equals tactical, and I'm sure there's a table for that one. Alright, so we got that out of the way. What's next? Oh, that might help. Number of opponents. Might be nice to know how many we're fighting here. Number of opponents you will face is affected by the campaign crew size you have chosen. I got 6. For campaign crew size of 6, roll 2d6s. Okay. And pick the higher result. This is the number of opponents. 3. Okay, so we got 3. Alright, so we have 3. And now what? So 3 guys. Add the modifier listed under numbers in the enemy table. Ah, that's what the numbers mean. So now go back. Renegade Soldiers. Oh, it's only one. So 3 plus 1. There's 4. So right now it's only 4 guys. 4 dudes. 4 dudes. We could take that, man. We could take that. We got this. So, alright, so 4 soldiers. Okay. The modified total is the number of opposing figures you will be fighting. Modify this based on the size of your crew in the field. If you are fielding a crew of 2 or more figures below the standard size for your campaign, typically 6, subtract 1 from the enemy numbers. Okay, yeah, so if I had 5 or 4, whatever. Okay, and then it has campaign. Okay, specialists and lieutenants. The enemy force may include figures that are armed in a different way. We refer to these as specialists and lieutenants. They will both roll separately for their weapons when these are determined. Note that specialists and lieutenants are not additional figures. They are part of the number of opponents already generated above, but are armed differently. If you encounter 1 to 2 opponents, no specialist will be present. Dang it. We got 4. If you encounter 3 to 6, there'll be 1 specialist. Okay, so there's 1 specialist. Come up with a cool name for them, I guess. And then if you encounter 7 plus, 2 specialists. Alright, then it has campaign difficulty modes again. If you encounter 4 or more opponents, 1 non-specialist figure will be a lieutenant. Alright, so 1's a lieutenant. That means you're going to have 1 specialist and 1 lieutenant and 2 grunts. Okay, they carry a blade in addition to their normal weapon. Oh, I'm going to have to come back and look at that so I can set this up right. They carry a blade in addition to their normal weapon and increase their combat skill by +1. Oh, crap. If the opponents encountered are animals that do not use weapons, a lieutenant will be a pack leader. Okay, well, increase combat skill by +1, but make no other changes. Unique individuals. We do have to worry about this. Okay, unique individual. The enemy force may be led by a special character. This might be the mastermind behind their plan, someone they hired to aid them. Well, why not just make it the lieutenant then? Or a wandering adventurer like yourself. Okay. And it's a 5 and a 4. Add +1 if fighting opponents from the... Okay, add +1 if fighting opponents from the interested parties subtable. Okay, so... Alrighty. I rolled a 5 and a 4, so that's 9. And then +1 is a 10. Okay. On a roll of 9+, the opposition is accompanied by a unique individual. Oh, okay, we got a unique individual. I'll put that in here. Unique indie. Alrighty, and what's going to be so unique about him? And you should check on that table. This figure is always an addition to those normally encountered. So it looks like I'm rolling 100. To be attached to a figure in the enemy force. This will always be a lieutenant if 1 is present, otherwise just pick a random non-specialist figure. If the campaign's difficulty mode is insanity, okay, don't have to worry about that. Okay, I have to roll a 100 here. And this is for quest. I found a unique individual table here. It's going to be a D100, and this is not good for me. For a beginning 5 Parsecs From Home player here. I am going to be first battle is going to be, it's going to probably be a very memorable one. Unique individual. If the mission indicates that you have encountered someone unique, roll below. They may be accompanying the opposition for any reasons you could think of. Hired help, a specialist to help them out, or it may be the real leader. Unique individuals are fearless and will not be affected by morale checks. Great. Note that they may follow a different AI routine than the group they are accompanying. Oh boy. Many unique individuals have luck. Note that the enemy boss entry uses the same AI type as the main enemy type. Okay, let's go ahead and roll the D100 and let's see what's so bad about this baddie. 11. Enemy heavy. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down. He's whatever enemy heavy is, probably heavy machine gun dude or something. The AI is a D and luck is a 0. Alright. Oh crap, he's got a rattle gun. So rattle, rattle, rattle. He's got a rattle gun. And the enemy has opted to bring some additional firepower. Yes, yeah, I can see that. And then the AI is D, so gotta scroll back up. Defensive. Okay, so he's a defensive. That's it. So okay, so we got the unique individual thing out of the way. Now what? Ended up being a Renegade Soldiers, which are actually the description of them are deserters, mutineers, so they're mutants, and other scoundrels. These groups often declare themselves local warlords and overlords. Their grudge is, if encountered as rivals, they bring one additional figure. So if they are your rivals, then they add one. Okay, add +1 when rolling for a unique individual. We did that. During quest missions, which is what we're on, a quest, when rolling for a number of opponents, which we did, and we only ended up with 4, reroll any die scoring 1 once. So I'm taking a reroll it, and then that's added to reroll any die scoring 1 roll. Okay. Is that how that works? Oh. So 3. So would it be 4 plus 3? So I'd be fighting 7 soldiers? I'm gonna have to look that one up. Okay, I figured that out. I tell you what, Nordic Weasel game Discord, that's the beeping you hear in the background. I leave that on. Those guys over there for 5 parsecs and all that, really helpful. They answered my question there. During quest missions, when rolling for a number of opponents, re-roll any die scoring 1 once. Well, I remember when I rolled for how many soldiers, and I rolled a 3 and a 1. It was 4 soldiers. Well, I had to re-roll that 1. So I re-rolled it and ended up with a 4. So now I have a total of 7 soldiers. So I got 7 soldiers, 1's a specialist, 1's a lieutenant, and then I got a unique individual. These guys are probably going to be pretty tough, man. I hope the die roll treats me right. So now we can move on from there. Okay, peeps. Now that we got, we know our enemy and all that, and most of their abilities and all, I actually have 8 soldiers because the unique individual, he's a hired hand by this by the Renegade Soldiers here. So 7 plus the 1. So I have a total of 8 soldiers here. So I'm going to be fighting 8 soldiers. That 7 soldiers. 2 of them are specialists. 1 is a lieutenant. And then I got the unique individual here. Remember I was talking about the Renegade Soldiers has tactical. Well, that's in the enemy movement in the main rules. Now, this is up to the player how you want to move them. They give out a few of the movements here for certain groups. Like it says here, it is assumed that the player will make decisions based on what is reasonable, but can also operate enemies according to one of 7 broad AI types shown below. It is up to the player to decide how strictly to adhere to these movements here. So anyways, I was just looking at tactical. With tactical, enemies will advance at half speed, always retaining cover where possible. They will cross open ground at full speed if needed. They will attempt to close to within 12 inches of their opponents, then will move to outflank and get clear line of sight where possible. If within 1 move of possessing higher combat skill, they will enter a brawl, otherwise they will fire. If they have a clear shot and are in cover, they will remain in place to aim. Tactical enemies will attempt to remain within 3 inches of a friendly figure whenever possible. So that's what the tactical. Now the unique individual, he has defensive as his trait or movement. And defensive is, will advance to weapons range, but will remain in their initial half of the table, and will remain in cover or behind terrain whenever possible. Once in position, they will fire from those positions. Standing, still to aim and will move to brawl if opponents enter their terrain features and they have equal or better combat skill. And then if a terrain feature with friendlies has been entered by the player's forces, those within adjacent features will move to reinforce. So pretty much, you know, like we're going to be looking for, we got, oh, what was it? There's so much stuff in here. One of the things we'll be looking was, oh gosh, I can't even remember what it was. Something that was going to be placed on the table as an additional reward or whatever. But he, you know, that unique individual, he could be over there or something like that. So, so that's all taken care of. Now all that's left is pretty much the battle setup. So ready for battle. So the battle round. So battles are split up into rounds of activity. Also, when you're going to set up your table, you go back to your world traits, and I rolled for military outpost, so my table is going to be basically set up as a military outpost, and so on with other different type of traits that you roll up on. So I'm going to have to build some kind of like like a little outpost on a 2x2 or 3x3 size table, or terrain here, and get that all set up. So that'll be when I decide to record the game. So pretty much I got it all set out to what needs to be done. I made some notes here that I have to go back and look at and study them again. So it tells you what kind of terrain set, which they told you mine's gonna be a military outpost. They give you ideas like what's a small thing to put out there, like 2 to 3 barrel storage containers. It's pretty much up to you what you want to put out there. They're just throwing out some ideas and stuff. And besides that, I'm scrolling down the PDF here. It's just terrain like 2x2, large terrain. You want 2 pieces of large. Small, you want 4 pieces of large. Linear, 2 pieces. That's on 2x2, 3x3. It's got different numbers. Again, that's really up to you if you want to do that. This is your game. What comes down to it, this is how, if you want to stick to a certain story that you have in mind, like I'm going to stick to this military outpost. This is going to be our first game here, my first game. So it's going to be the beginning of the TV show or whatever you want to call it. So, and then it has encounter generation examples, setting up the figures, establish your battlefield edge, stuff that's pretty much up to you. And then it gives an example down here. That's a neat thing. At each of these main points, he puts it's written an example of how things, like another player doing or something, so it helps you out. So, and then you go to the battle round, and the battle round is pretty much battles are split up into rounds of activity. A round of battle is not a fixed period of time. It can represent a few moments when a lot of shooting is happening, a couple of minutes when you are just sneaking around. Every round consists of the following phases. You got the reaction roll, quick action, enemy actions, slow actions, end phase, and seizing the initiative. After both sides set up and before the round of this battle, the player may attempt to seize the initiative. If you're successful, your crew caught the opposition flat-footed and gets a chance to take up positions or fire before the first round begins. Surprise them. And it tells you to roll 2d6, add the highest savvy score of any crew member, which is like a +1. And then it said add +1 if you're outnumbered. When fighting opponents from the hired, well, we don't have hired muscle. It has certain things there. Then it has difficulty, campaign difficulty mode, blah, blah, blah. So on a 10+, every character in your crew may either take a normal move or may fire before the battle begins. Any shots taken only hit on a natural 6. So that's many opponents types will add a bonus or a penalty to the roll. If your crew includes any feral, okay, that's for feral. May ignore. So got to get the rule book. You can get the PDF for $20 at either is it DriveThruRPG or War Game Vault. One of those sites has the PDF. The book, I think I already told you, should be coming out next month. Some people say it's going to be coming out now. Well, in the States it hasn't come out, so a lot of them are saying next month. Sometime next month or 2 months. Who knows? I don't know. But the PDF is out to get you started. I will get the book, obviously, because then I could just flip through pages instead of scroll up and down and all this stuff. So each battle round, the first thing you will need to establish is the order in which figures act. This is the reaction roll. That's the reaction roll. So, you know, a reaction could be a 1, like my dudes here, the War Mutts. My captain has a reaction of 1. So roll a number of d6. So if I roll a number d6 equal to number of characters, I don't have 3 dice. We'll just do 1 character. Okay, so it's a 2. Equal to the number of characters. Assign each of the dice results to one of your characters, comparing it to the reaction score. Here, I can do this. We could just roll 3. Okay, so I got a 3, a 3, 4, and a 5. So any character assigned a die result equal or below their reaction score will act in the quick actions. Well, all my reactions except Norbit's a 2. And Maddie's a 2. Well, I don't have a 2, so they're all 3, 4, and 5. So definitely not going to be quick actions. All enemies will act in the enemy action phase because it's a solo game. So characters that were assigned a die result higher than their reaction score will act in the slow actions. So you go back. You gotta look at slow reactions here. Has examples. When acting, a figure may make a movement action and then perform. You move and then you have a combat. Move and a combat. Some activities have free actions, such as using a consumable item. Like I said, consumables, you buy them, and you buy them just for that battle alone. It could be a power boost. It could be something to enhance one of your abilities, or give you an additional die roll or something. The consumables, there's a table there that you can roll for them, but you have to pay credits for them. Sometimes I think you could win them in the game or something, or find them in the game. So a combat action typically means firing a weapon or brawling, but some other actions on the battlefield may require the use of that figure's combat action for that round. For explanation of movement and combat action procedures, go to page 41 and 44. That's pretty much the main rules, tell you how to move. Movement and jumping and running and dashing, or whatever it's called. Then you have your end phase. During this phase, carry out an end of round activity such as checking if a defeated enemy force withdraws from battle. You can see if they run off. That's what the fearless is all about on the enemy. Some enemies, including all lieutenants, are fearless. Well, that's not what the scratch that. Some enemies, including all lieutenants, are fearless. They will never bail, regardless of circumstances. These troops do not have a morale dice applied to them. Simply skip them and apply the die to the next closest figure to the enemy battlefield. So I guess you're checking the morale at the end of each phase here, obviously. At the end of each round, the enemy will test morale if they lost any figures during the round just played. If the enemy fails their test, some of them will bail, fleeing the field of battle, which will be nice since I'm going to be outnumbered in my first battle here. But no matter what, it looks like the lieutenant and the unique individual is going to be hanging around. So you roll a number of dice equal to the number of figures that were removed due to the combat during the round. Casualties from environmental hazards or other terrain concerns are not counted. Every die that fails within the panic range, each enemy has a panic range, and it's like a 2 or 1 or 2 or something like that. So every die that falls within the panic range for the enemy type indicates one of them will bail. So apply each die to the enemy figure, starting with the figures closest to the enemy battlefield edge. These figures bail, I like saying bail, and are removed from play. They do not count as killed for any purposes. The thing is, I just had to stop. If they bailed on you and took off, that means somewhere down your campaign, down the road, you may encounter them again. That's why they have this this encounter log sheet. Oops, sorry guys. Dang it, banged the camera. This counter log sheet here. Counter log, deployment conditions, it has stuff like that. shiny bits. I do not know what that is yet. There's the mission, but enemy types like the Renegade Soldiers. Then you write down like their number, panic, speed. You know, you record all that and what weapons that each one's using or whatever. And then you put down your notes here, outcome and notable events. So, and then when on that world I'm on, which is Marduk, I can put down the patrons that are on this world that I've encountered, and then local rivals known. So like any of the rivals for Renegade Soldiers that ran off or something like that. And then invasion status here on that world, and the war progress and the invading force. So there's a lot going on in this game, and it's really cool. It is really set up for role playing and to carry your actual crew into its own unique story. So I'm gonna probably just end it right here because I've been talking a lot about a lot of this stuff here. Again, most of this stuff is in the rule books. I really urge, you know, if you're really into the role playing and the miniature wargaming side of it and you want to combine them, I know there's other games out there that are pretty similar to that. I guess Stargrave is really similar to that. This is it for you. So this is something like you could play on your own time. You know, like me, I'm already getting itched to do a Zombicide game again because I love Zombicide. But you know, if I'm playing this one and then I'm gonna do Zombicide, I can put all this where it's at and put it away, and then I can return, and I don't have to start over on anything. I just start where I'm at and carry the story out, and I can end it whenever I want to. That's the neat thing about it. I can make this like a book, like a novel or something. So, and that's what's neat about this. It's almost like a story outline. If you're into writing and stuff, and you need world building and stuff like that, character creating, this is really cool for writing. So, and my wife is calling, so I am going to end it right there, and I will talk to you guys later. Have fun, guys. Bye.